Hi, and welcome again to It's Not Rocket Science. 5 questions over coffee. I have my favorite beer mug with me today with my drink in it. I'm here today with Charles Reed, who is a compliance and tax expert from Get Payroll, and we're going to have a chat about some of the issues associated with compliance within small businesses. Hi, Charles. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Stuart. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. So, Charles, let's start with my first question, which is, what is your ideal client? Who is it you're trying to help, and give us a short description of them.
Our basic clients are employers with under 50 employees um, that that have employees. I mean, we do payroll, so they have to have somebody that works for them, or they have to be their own corporation. And we handle onesies all the way up to several hundred, but our target market is under 50 employees.
And what are the problems that you find that those employers have got into trying to handle sort of payroll or sort out some of those issues without getting help from somebody like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, they don't understand. They don't know what they don't know.
Mm.
Taxes are complex and complicated and ever changing, and
Yeah.
so unless they're in the market like we are, unless they're in the industry, they're not up to date. They'll never be up to date. They can't be. They've got their own business to run. They're specialists in their business. They're successful and they're driven. They're entrepreneurs for the most part, but they're not tax people. It's a whole different world, and it's something we do for our clients inexpensively and provide a level of compliance that they're not going to get on their own, no matter what.
And the last thing you want to do is fall foul of the tax authorities. Don't you? No matter which jurisdiction you're in, the last person you want knocking on your door at any stage of the day or night is somebody from some sort of tax office.
Your wife may forgive you, your children may forgive you, your parents may forgive you. The Internal Revenue Service will never forgive you.
I had a conversation with an accountant only this morning that went something along the lines of, my engagement with my client started when the tax people knocked on his door because they hadn't filed properly for 2 years, and it took 2 years to sort out, but it was 2 years he does not wish to relive.
When we first started in business, I started with my wife some 30 years ago, and we would get certified letters from the IRS, and it would upset her to no end. She would call me. She'd be worried about it on clients because we got copies because we take a power of attorney. So she'd get these, and I said, no, 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 don't worry about it. There's nothing like a certified letter from the IRS to bring clients out of the woodwork.
I hate to think that they're your recruiting system, but okay, if that's the way it works, that's marvelous news. So, Charles, I get from the link that we've got scrolling across the bottom of the screen here that you may have some really interesting help that you can provide to small businesses along the lines of a book, possibly by the looks of things.
This is the Payroll Book, a guide for small business and startups, published by Wiley just recently. It's 30 years of wisdom distilled down to 95,000 words. And if your listener go to the website that's scrolling underneath, and in the discount code enter podcast, we'll send them a free book.
That's fantastic. How do we get hold of that discount code?
The discount code is podcast.
The discount code is podcast. I will make sure that discount code goes in the notes, Charles, so that they get a copy of that free book. So if you're listening to this, the discount code is podcast, and the link that you need to go to is thepayrollbook.com. That's pretty simple, Charles. Thepayrollbook.com, discount code podcast. You'll get a free book out of that.
Yep. We wrote the book on payroll.
I'm pleased somebody did. I'm very pleased somebody did. So Charles, having given us that valuable free insight into that, what's the thing which has most driven you? Some concept or program that's really inspired you to that you want to pass on to as wisdom to the people that we're talking to today?
Well, one of the books that really made my business was The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. I
Oh,
buy
great.
it by the dozen and give it to my clients. I have every new employee read it as part of the hiring process. To me, it teaches people how to work on their business, not in their business, which is a mistake that most of us entrepreneurs make, is we work in our business, not on our business. And that's really changed my life when a friend of mine gave that to me some 25 years ago.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Charles, obviously as a business mentor who makes most of his living from working with entrepreneurs who have found themselves forgetting that they actually need to spend some time thinking about what their business is about and getting some clarity on that. The most important thing, most important lesson I can ever pass on to people is just take a little time, I say daily, weekly, where you just book an appointment with yourself to clear the diary and have a little think about what your business is about, not trying to chase that latest action that you've got to get done or chasing somebody to get it done. That thinking time is the most important thing. For me, I do it first thing in the morning. I don't know about you.
I do it first thing in the morning also. And I'm with you. I agree that what you're saying is literally you should do it every day. You should think about your business and where you wanted to go and how you wanted to get there, not your to-do list for today. You need to do that too. I do that every evening, but you need to think about your business every day.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, this has been, it's interesting to hear even somebody that has the experience of 30 years in payroll still needs to do that. But what's that one question that you were sitting here at the moment thinking to yourself, I'd love Stuart to ask me this, but he's not got around to it yet. What's the question you most would like me to ask, and what would the answer be?
Well, why do people get into problems with the Internal Revenue Service? What causes businesses to have that problem? And it's again back to them not knowing what they don't know. Uh, the analogy I use is when I grew up, Pele was the world's best soccer player, maybe best soccer player of all time. Wonderful athlete. But if you put him in a New York Yankees uniform at second base, he's lost. Okay. He doesn't know the game, the rules, the equipment, or anything. Still a great athlete. So if you take a businessman, a chef, a mechanic, a manufacturer, an artist, a doctor, whatever, and you say, okay, now deal with the IRS, they're totally lost. So that's where that goes wrong. They don't know what they don't know again. And wow, bang.
Do you know something? I think I'm going to steal that one, Charles, if you don't mind. I am going to steal that because it's something which I find is really dear to my heart. I love working with people who are technically very, very good at their job. They're very good at what they do, but unfortunately, they don't understand how running a business is different to doing what they want to do. And I
Exactly.
constantly reach out to them and say, do you know, and this is why I got into this. It isn't rocket science what we do as a business person, but it does need some external thinking. It needs you to suddenly sit down and say, I need some help with something because actually I'm not the expert at understanding marketing or payroll or anything else. Just get the help. And too many of the people I work with try to use what I call the path of least assistance because they'll go, but it's going to be too much effort for me to explain. Actually, it kind of isn't.
One of the biggest mistakes I made in my business was I thought I could market. Okay. And I could market my services and so on. And then as we got bigger, I finally hired a marketing person to take over the details that I didn't have time to handle. And it only took about 2 weeks for me to realize I can't market my way out of a paper bag.
I love that story. I love that story. And thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. That is worth the 10 minutes we spent alone. And that one is just a great quote. I love it. That one is going to be the headline of this talk. I'm going to remember that one forever. You can't market your way out of a paper bag. Charles, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. Listen, I'm going to make sure it goes onto the notes, but it's thepayrollbook.com, thepayrollbook.com. Offer code podcast. You can get a free book. That's a wonderful offer. I can't believe somebody's giving away free books. That's brilliant. Charles, thank you so much for being with us. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Stuart. Thanks for having me.
Listen, if you would like to get on our mailing list so that you hear about upcoming talks with people as interesting as Charles, so that you can get on and speak with them and ask questions if you need to, get onto the subscription list at https:// // I don't know why I always do this, but that's the way it's set out. https://tca.fyi/subscribe. That's tca.fyi/subscribe. And please come and listen to really interesting people like Charles talk. Charles, it sounds like you have got a great book, a great business there. I'm really looking forward to getting into that book and listening to what you've got to say in it. I should be on there later on with my free offer code podcast to the payroll book. I'll just put that one back up to make sure that everybody's got it. So that's thepayrollbook.com. Get on and get yourself a free copy. Charles, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.